guys, John here, and if you cannot tell, I am back in the state of Indiana. Yeah, so it's been a little while since we've had anything really up to date. I've been working trying to catch up all the videos from all the awesome trips we did out west, and we have many more to come. At this point, I'm actively working on the Glacier National Park videos, and there'll be one of those released probably by the time this comes out. So I wanted to come to you today and just kind of give you guys an update on what's going on, kind of update you on the trip and how it went. And honestly, I'm out here doing a little leaf peeping. So I am out here at Pokagon State Park here in far northeast Indiana. And like I said, I'm just walking around doing a little leaf peeping today. We've been working really hard all month on some projects that are gonna kick in here going forward. But I figured while I was out here walking around, I might as well take a little bit of time and answer some questions. We seem like we got the same couple of questions over and over again from different folks as we run into them. And so I'll answer some questions as we walk around here, and at the same time share some of these beautiful leaves with y'all. This is fantastic. And then at the end we'll give you a little update on what happens next and where we're going from here. Sound good? Fantastic. Now, as I was saying, it seemed like we got the same couple of questions over and over again on the trip and when we got back from different people. The first one was probably the biggest one was, man, I don't know how you guys do it. How did you guys, get everything together and be able to take off and do a trip like this? Fill in the blank, would love to do this, and we just don't know how to make it happen. That's actually a pretty easy question to answer, to be honest with you. So how did we do it? How did we afford to be able to travel for 4 months and see, I don't know how many, probably 30 national parks and monuments, and really spent some good time exploring some of the bigger states out west? It's pretty simple. 9 months before we left, we cut every unnecessary expense out. We eliminated the cable TV and went to just the free antenna. We cut our internet back. We cut out eating out, no more fast food. So we did all of that in order to save money that we were already earning, to give us kind of a jump start. But the other thing that we did was we took that entire 9-month period and started going to BioLife. We went to BioLife twice a week, and we did not touch a dime of that money for the entire 9 months. And I'm here to tell you that adds up pretty doggone quick, especially if you stay out of it. I don't remember the exact amount, but I can tell you we had over $6 grand for the trip just from the BioLife accounts alone. So, once we decided that doing this was a priority, it wasn't a hard decision to cut out the extra unnecessary items in life and recoup a lot of that cash. And then, like I said, the BioLife thing, I mean, it's an hour twice a week, kick back, watch some Netflix. It's really not a hard process, and you're saving lives at the same time as you're making some money. So those two combined with, just our personal savings and retirement accounts and whatnot, that is how we did it. That is how we afforded it. Wow, that's a pretty one. The other question, and this one was probably more popular than even how did we do it, is what about the girls and their schooling? And that's a really simple answer. Homeschooling. The state of Indiana, they make it really easy if you want to homeschool your kids, and so that is the path that we have chosen. I don't know if it'll be forever, but at least for the next while. So we are going to homeschool the girls. That gives us the freedom to be able to travel like we want to travel. And it also, I mean, I hate to state the obvious, but the public school system these days is not exactly the safest place to send your kids. There towards the end of last year, when the girls were still in public school, when they would go to school, I would worry whether they were going to be harmed. I would worry whether they were going to come home. And as sad as that is to say, that is the state of the current public education system. So, homeschooling, I tell you, I feel a whole lot better about that. I know my kids are safe. I know they're not going to be bullied. Haven't had issues with bullies in school last year. I know they're not going to, be shot by some upset person that's taking it out on everybody else. And honestly, it gives us the ability to kind of fine tune what they're learning. The math, the English, the history, that sort of thing is pretty standard. And to be honest, as far as like a science and a history standpoint goes, I feel like the kids are going to get a much better education than what they would get anywhere else, because they're getting a hands-on education. It's one thing to talk about the Alamo and look at some pictures in a book. It's another thing to see it in person, to be there. It's one thing to learn about geothermal activity. It's another thing to be at Yellowstone with a junior scientist kit from the Rangers out there actually measuring geothermal pool temperatures and learning about the colors and the algae and why they are the way they are. I can tell you, if I would have got an education like that, I probably would have paid a little more attention, and school would not have been, such a rough go for me. So yeah, as far as the girls' schooling goes, we are handling that internally. And those were probably the two most common questions that we were asked about. How did we do it? And what about the girls' schooling? Probably the third most popular question, this will be the last one that I'll go into, is, where did we go? And which one did we like the best? That is a really, really hard question for me. I'll let each one of the girls answer for themselves.
It was Glacier because we saw all the mountain goats and bighorn sheep, and on the way we saw a grizzly bear. It was at Cracker Lake.
Cracker Lake? Do you remember what national park Cracker Lake's in?
Glacier.
Yeah. Why was Cracker Lake your favorite?
It was so peaceful there, and I got to see a lot of cute little marmots there.
Yep. That water was pretty awesome too, wasn't it? And the big glaciers up there.
Yeah, and we saw one of the special type of fish that lives in Cracker Lake.
Yep. Those bullhead trout.
I think so.
Yeah.
Probably Olympic, because I've been dreaming of seeing the ocean my entire life, and I finally got to see it there.
It was pretty neat.
Yeah. They have the ocean and the mountains and the rainforest. I liked all of it, but I mean the ocean was the most special.
Was it Olympic National Park where we got to scale the sand cliffs and got to touch the sea anemone and see starfish and hang out in tide pools?
Yep.
It was amazing. Never in my life that I thought I'd ever touch a sea anemone, and I survived.
Yep.
It was an amazing experience.
So, Olympic National Park was your favorite?
Yep.
Okie doke. Awesome. As for me, and which one did I like the best? I would say it would probably be a really close tie between Mount Rainier National Park, Olympic National Park, North Cascades National Park, and Glacier National Park. Those were by far my favorite places that we visited this year. Glacier is just Glacier. I mean, Glacier is, it's amazing. And kind of, people go to Glacier, kind of like the reason they go to Yellowstone. They go to Glacier to see the animals. The mountains are amazing. The lakes are beautiful. Cracker Lake, oh my gosh. That was fantastic. Grinnell Glacier, Iceberg Lake. Yeah, we spent about 8 days there, and there was not one day that we didn't do something really fun or exciting. Saw beautiful things everywhere, but we saw, I want to say 8 bears. I think it was 8 bears while we were there, and we actually had a trail shut down on us while we were at the top for grizzly bear activity. Those videos will be coming up here before too long. But, you know, Glacier was amazing. North Cascades, y'all know me, I'm a backpacker. And North Cascades is a backpacker's park. It is very different from a lot of the other from any other park that we visited, in that there was really nowhere that you just drive to, get out and see something, then get back in and drive along to the next spot. You know, Yellowstone's like that, the Tetons are like that, Rockies like that. Yeah, there's the majority of the parks are set up like that, so that you can drive in, park, walk maybe a short distance, and then see something really cool. North Cascades is not set up like that at all. It is a backpacker's park. And honestly, if it had been made into a park sooner, it probably would have been called Glacier National Park, because they have more glaciers there than anywhere else in the United States. Anywhere else in North America, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but they get more snow there than anywhere else in the US. And all the sites, like I did a hike out to Hidden Lake and the fire tower, and then took the girls backpacking, and we did a couple of short day hikes there. But there are entire cities that are part of that park that you cannot get to by road. You have to fly, boat, or hike in. And I mean, we saw maybe 2% of what that park had to offer. If I had to pick just one park that was my favorite, that might be it. Now, Olympic National Park, you want to talk about a diverse ecosystem and environment. You know, we went from hiking and backpacking on the beach and watching Pacific Coast sunsets to hiking high up into the mountains, way above tree line. And if the smoke had not have been so bad from the fires nearby, I would have had the most epic views of Mount Olympus. I could still see it. It was very shrouded in the haze and the smoke. But even through that, I could tell how impressive it really is. And I am super looking forward to going back there and doing that hike again, taking the wife and kids. It was I think a 22-mile day hike loop that I did, where I was all the way up into the mountains. You know, you started out in the rainforest, and that's the third ecosystem they have there. You know, you have the beach, you have the mountains, and you have the rainforest. So with, you know, a diverse ecosystem like that, where you have all three different types of environments, I mean, the backpacking there is spectacular. They have, you know, you're right there on the coast. They have salmon that spawn up in through some of those creeks and rivers around there. I mean, it's, yeah, Olympic blew my mind. And so that was definitely one of my tops. And then Mount Rainier, I've put some stuff on Instagram about Mount Rainier and some pretty nice pictures that I took, but I mean, nothing comes close to the magnificence and the grandeur of Mount Rainier in person. I mean, that blew my mind, especially for a place that really wasn't even on my radar. I mean, I knew there was a national park there, and it was called Mount Rainier. And that was it. I thought, you know, we'll go look at a little Cascade Mountain, and then we'll bounce. And man, we ended up spending almost a week there. It was amazing. Same thing. Old growth forest on one side, like rain type forest, elk everywhere, beautiful mountains, and just amazing, amazing area. So those would be my 4 favorites, or my 4 top parks that we visited. But like I said, if I had to pick one, gosh, I don't know. North Cascades. How about this? I'll just go with the state of Washington's national parks. I know that's cheating, right? But that's about as good as I can get it for you. So now, here we are, back in Indiana. And you may have noticed I never said a specific city that we had picked to return to live at. And so now I'm going to get into a little bit of the what's next. We left on this journey in search of a new home. And we had no idea where it was going to be, what state. I just knew what I was looking for geographically. Mountains, forest, lots of wildlands. And we found it. We found it all over. We found it outside of Gunnison, Colorado. We found it outside of Libby, Montana. We found it outside of Packwood, Washington. What I'm getting at is, we found it, and it's not a single place. And I think that's why I could never get clarity on where we were supposed to be going. What we found was that there is so much beauty and so many national park areas and wildlands and forest areas, and mountains and places to go and things to see and do, that to nail ourselves down to one house, one spot in the country, honestly, I'd feel like I was shorting myself. If we went back to Gunnison and got a house in Gunnison, I guarantee you within a year, I would be setting my sights on Montana and going, gosh, I wish we would have went to Montana instead. Colorado is beautiful, but I really miss Montana. And if we would have picked Montana to buy a house and settle down, I guarantee you, while we were there, I would have been thinking of the mountains of Colorado and Washington. And if we would have picked a spot in Washington, you kind of see where I'm going with this. There was not one particular place that we found, but all of them. And so the conclusion we come to is that a single home dwelling, at least one that's stationary, permanent, that's not the model that's going to work for us. We have decided to become full-time nomads. And part of that process involved upgrading our tent situation, because the tents were awesome. They did fantastic for 4 months of daily use, being set up and tore down and put through quite a workout that I'm sure the manufacturers never intended them to go through. They did fantastic. They did really, really good. But even the best tent is not designed to be set up and tore down repeatedly, day after day, for months, years on end. So, after we rode out the last sandstorm at the Great Sand Dunes in Colorado, we decided that if we were going to do this full time, we needed to upgrade the living situation, so we returned to Indiana. And we bought an RV. We finally bought our home. It just wasn't quite like I was picturing it. Instead of a home in the mountains in some beautiful remote place, it's a home on wheels that I can drive to this remote place, stay there for a few months, this remote place, stay there for a few months, this remote place. With that out there, let's get into the RV tour. All right, on with the RV tour. So, we have a 29-foot Coachman Catalina Sport. It's got the queen size bed in the top, the queen size bed in the back. Actually it has better ground clearance than my SUV does. It's got the Ford van on the front, and just oodles and oodles of places to store things. We are set up down here at our campground, and so there's kind of the outside. Up next, I'll show you the inside. And now for the inside. Come on in. Upon entry, you are in the kitchen. Stove, microwave, sink, all upgrades on the last tent we had. Couch, that also is an upgrade from the last tent. Oh, table and children. Place to sit. Lots of storage. This is the girls area up here. Nice big queen size. More storage. There's a Mindy. Got kids' dressers areas back here. And then our bedroom, the queen size. I kind of rigged up my own hanging dresser with a shower curtain rod and some of these closet organizers. Hey, it works. Shower, should we need it. And the loo. Also an upgrade on the last tent we had. So, that's about it. That is the official RV inside and outside tour. Now what about Star, you may ask? Well, I'm glad you did. Our RV is pretty good size, as you can see. It definitely sleeps 4 comfortably. It could even sleep 5 comfortably if she wanted. But I tell you what, I'm going to let Star tell you what she's going to do from here. So, the rest of the family's heading out. What's next for you?
It's a big question. So, I applied for AmeriCorps, and I hope to be a part of a team that'll be working in parks, maybe if I'm lucky. So I made sure in my application to talk about a lot how I like the environment and conservation and that kind of stuff. But until then, I'm here living with Grandma, doing odd jobs around the neighborhood, trying to make money and start my own adventures.
Right on.
With my cat Pinky.
Oh, hey, you're back. So what's next for us, you may ask? Well, from here, we're heading to Lexington. We'll be starting a new position right at the beginning of November, working with the Amazon Work Camp Force, and I'll be down there November and December. We'll be living in Lexington while I work some long hours and bank some serious cash. Then come January, we're out and we're heading out to Quartzsite, Arizona. Why Quartzsite? Well, that happens to be the gathering of one of the largest communities of fellow nomads in the country. The Rubber Tramp Rendezvous is going to be going on out there, and so we're going to go out there and try to learn a whole bunch from all the people that have been doing this full-time RVing thing a lot longer than us. Now, at the end of the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, they have an event that's part of the Quartzsite RV show that is called the Big Tent. And it's been explained to me by a number of different folks that if you are interested in getting a job in the outdoor industry, such as camp hosting, you need to be at the Big Tent in January in Quartzsite. So we are going to be there, and they say it's virtually impossible to go in there and not leave with a camp hosting position if you really want one. So our plan is basically we're going to start this new this new type of life, full-time RVing, and it's going to look a little something like this. We're going to work 2 months, bank some money, and then we're going to take the next 3 to 4 to explore. And then we'll stop and we'll work a couple more months, and then we'll take the next few to explore again. In the fall and early winter, obviously the Amazon Work Camper Force is going to be an option for steady income every year. Camp hosting in the summer, which is working at a campground, basically acting as the host, cleaning up the campsites and whatnot after people leave, making sure folks pay, that sort of thing. Doesn't pay a whole lot, but the freedom, I've already been in contact with one group that manages the camp hosts for North Cascades National Park, and I would love to land that gig for next summer, because in the downtime there's plenty to explore. And probably this time next year we'll roll back around through Indiana and visit the folks and say hi to everybody before we head on out again on the next leg. Are we going to do this forever? I don't know. We're going to do it as long as it's working and as long as it fits what we're looking to see from life. As long as this continues to fulfill our dream, yeah, we're going to keep doing it. If we get to the point where the dream changes, then we'll adjust and we'll go from there. Well, now that we're all caught up, hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your fall here in Indiana. Be on the lookout for lots more videos. Like I said, I've got a ton of archived footage that I'm just trying to sift and work my way through. This month I didn't get through near as much as I'd hoped, just because we've been working on the RV and big yard sale, getting rid of the last of the items that we owned and whatnot. So yeah, lots more videos yet to come. And then obviously there'll be new ones from our new adventures yet to come. Lexington, that area is only about an hour from one of my favorite places in the United States, the Red River Gorge. And the way the hours are set up, it looks like I'll have at least a day or two every week to get over there and do some exploring. So fun times ahead, more videos coming. Y'all stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and have fun out there. Enjoy life. That's what it's meant for.